Rachel here from Hazardous Material, and joining me today is Michael from Septembryo. So, we're going to be interviewing about the band and everything. You just had your CD release party this past weekend.
Yeah.
What was it like to hit the stage and unleash new tunes that you've been working so hard on?
Well, it was, I actually took a break for about a year from shows, just working on the album itself, the comic book, and a lot of things all at once. So it was the first time I played live in about a year, so that was kind of a new feeling. It had been years since I've experienced any kind of like nerves on stage or anything, and so it was kind of, I walked up one day, I was like, oh, it's tingly, you know, like, yeah, I hadn't felt that in a while, so that was nice. I felt like that brought a lot of really cool energy out that I hadn't really experienced before, so there's that, and I just kind of forgot how much I missed that part, you know, because my favorite part of music is the creating part, and then performing always comes after, but it's, you know, it's its own thing too, so I got to really enjoy that as well.
Nice. Yeah, you mentioned comic book. You teamed up with Rad Pencil to create your own Septembryo comic book. Whose idea was it to create the comic characters, and who came up with the storyline?
I wrote the script for the book. It was interesting because I had this idea for a while just in my head. Reading, you know, I read a lot of books about the supernatural and UFOs and just ghosts and things like that in general, and so reading about astral projection, I don't know if anybody watching knows what astral projection is, but it's the ability to leave your body at will and be fully conscious while doing it. So, and reading about that, I was like, oh, this would be like kind of a cool premise for like a superhero comic. Like when you leave your body, you know, it's kind of like having superpowers. You're always flying, you can go through walls. You know, apparently when you think something, you've done it. Like thought is action, so you're like faster than like even the Flash. Like it's, you know, so I had this little idea in my head, and just I wanted to do the comic for Septembryo for a while, but I mean, we were always busy, you know, playing shows, hitting the live scene hard and stuff, and when the break happened, it was just kind of, it became a new focus that I wanted to do, and coincidentally, Roberto, who was the artist in Rad Pencils, approached me to do a comic about Septembryo, but he had this idea to do like Septembryo goes into space and enters like the battle of the bands to become the best band in the universe, and it was going to be kind of like a fun sci-fi like comedic story along the lines of like Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. And I was like, it's interesting that you know come up with that, because this is what I've been kicking around. And I told him my idea, and he was like, we're doing that, you know. So, and then it just kind of came from there. So he did all the art, I wrote the script. It's the comic is I have a full script written for a full graphic novel. We're going to be releasing it kind of basically one issue at a time per month, and then when it's all up there, we're going to start printing them out for free. Or, well, it's up there for free, but we're going to start printing them out for people to own eventually.
It's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's a big story ahead of it. Like basically the first graphic novel is just an origin story, so we have big plans for this idea.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see where that goes.
That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Along the lines of like superheroes and everything, is there like one superhero or villain that you would like to be?
That I would like to be? Oh man, like, I don't know.
You can use my skirt as inspiration.
Where's He-Man? Yeah, like, I don't know, Superman? Like, who doesn't want to be Superman? Because, like, he has it all. And like, I know some people might be bored reading that in a story, but, I mean, if you lived it, you would never get bored of this and lasers out of the eyes. You know, like, that can never get boring in real life. So, yeah, why not Superman? He's got all the powers. And just to throw a cellophane 8 at somebody for no reason, that'd be cool. And what else? In the movies, he had all, like, sorts of messed up powers that didn't exist in the comic book, like he had that date rape kiss. You know, he would kiss Lois and she'd forget who he was, and he was like, that was pretty creepy. But Christopher Reeve will always be the best Superman.
Oh. Yeah. So what goes into your writing process, and do you guys sit down as a whole and write together, or is there like one mastermind behind each individual piece?
Well, Roberto is, luckily for me, because I've never done anything like this before, Roberto is trained in script writing. So when it came time for me to write the script, you know, I had a lot of questions for him, and I had a lot of hesitation, because I was like, you know, what do you want me to do? How do I do this? And he just kept going, just write everything down, just go for it. And so he was great in guiding me to how to structure it and everything like that. And it turned out that it all just kind of came out pretty naturally. The biggest obstacle in writing it was I had to do a lot of research. I wanted to plan ahead, and basically, I've always read about supernatural things like recreationally because I've always had an interest in them. But I went from just reading it casually to like researching it. So for like a span of months, I just hit the books hard and like studied like what this world was of like people that actually believe in these things, people who have like personal accounts of out-of-body experiences, alien abductions. There's certain consistent patterns and details that exist in all these stories. And what I wanted to do was model this world after that, so that people that were already reading about this and were interested in it could identify with it and pick out that that's a specific detail, and it's kind of like this preset market. So I spent a long time researching everything I could and trying to fit it all together, like a lot of unrelated things, like how do ghosts relate to UFOs and how does this fit in with that, and in a way I was almost like trying to solve all the mysteries and come up with an explanation. So that was very hard to do, but so this book is almost like my best guess for what the nature of the world is. But
that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. How long have you guys been playing together, and how did you guys come together?
Well, Septembryo was my first band that I started, and it did its thing. It lasted for about a year or so, and it did its thing and kind of moved on. All the members kind of dissipated and stuff, and then I was in other bands, and they would do its thing and kind of end. And as plenty of people probably know, when they're in bands, you do your thing, it ends, you start from scratch again. And I kind of wanted to not start from scratch anymore. So what I did is I kind of revived the Septembryo name because it's so personal to me, and I made it a solo project. And what I basically wanted to do was I wanted a brand that I could push no matter what, and regardless of who was involved with it, whoever came or went, I could continue on and never have to start from scratch again. Basically just always climb up. And then around 2011, once I started putting out the demos that I was recording, that's when I'd set out to do a solo project, but then live members came. So that's when Mickey joined, that's when Nolan came aboard, and he was the original bassist from before, so it was kind of interesting. And then Nolan basically kind of called it quits for music. Like he had to grow up, focus on a career. Mickey's doing the same thing, focusing on graphic design, but he's still doing I think he's doing fun projects like the jingle still, and he's got a solo thing that he's just online. Her motives are silent, and so he's still doing it casually, but and now it's just me again. But I'm getting to continue on, and I'm sure people will come and go and help out. But it's great because no matter who is involved with Septembryo, it's always a very collaborative thing. And right now it's like the Septembryo team consists of myself and Roberto from Rad Pencils, and so that's a whole new dynamic. It's just adding that visual aspect to it, so it's fun.
Yeah, keep the name going. What advice would you give to up-and-coming artists?
Focus on what makes you like in any kind of art form. The best way that you can stand out when everybody else is trying to stand out is you gotta figure out what defines you as not only an artist but as a person. You can think of things that you might not relate to your art, like your interests, you're probably into My Little Pony, right? Yeah. So you should just start a rock band full of bronies, and then bam, you monopolize that scene, right? All art is about taking what you wish existed and making it exist. And once you figure out how to do that, you pretty much monopolize that market. So that's my advice, is do that.
See? Be yourself. Always. The best advice ever anyone can ever give you.
Long rant, be yourself. Same message.
So you had a booth at the Calgary Expo this year.
I did.
Yes. Can you tell us what it was like to bring your music to such a large crowd, and how did Septembryo benefit from the booth?
Well, Septembryo actually performed at the Calgary Comic Expo in 2012 at the Corral, and that was the first year that it kind of blew up. That was when I think they had the whole Star Trek: The Next Generation cast come aboard,
Yeah.
and they had to turn away like thousands of people
Yeah.
because they weren't prepared for that.
Yep.
And so we got to play the crowd, 2 people waiting to get in, and then we had, they gave us a booth, and they treated us like gold there, and we sold out of all our CDs there, and that was a powerful experience because one, we didn't even know that was a possibility. I was just like, you know what we sing about and what we do, I think comic book fans would love what we do, so we should play it. And it was just kind of, that was that. We didn't know it was possible, but then I think it was actually through Roberto that we found that channel to do that show. But that was just kind of like, that was something clicked with that. Like I knew we were onto something. And then Weird Al performed the year after, so we didn't get to play. And then I figured that was that. Like, it was a new thing at the Expo, and I was like, oh, okay, so now they're getting bigger artists. And then this year I just booked a booth or with Roberto, and they didn't book anybody. So I'm looking at next year for performing.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I didn't hear anything about anybody performing.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely going to look into performing again because that was amazing. But even without performing, just having the booth and getting to meet people, like at rock shows, you get to meet people, you get to kind of talk with them, but it's a very loud environment.
Yeah.
But getting to connect with people at that level, and just the great thing is that at the Comic Expo, every single person there is just so enthusiastic and passionate about like everything. That's why they're there. That's all it's about. So, the energy that's in a place like that, no matter what you're talking about with who, is just this explosive energy that you get from everybody. And it is really funny how many CDs I've sold without people even hearing it, just talking with people.
Oh,
they're like,
awesome.
I'll talk about it, and they'd be like, yeah, I want it, And so, it's a cool experience, and you're getting to speak with people who are just into the same things you are. It's the perfect market for Septembryo. So.
Did you dress up?
I cosplayed as Michael8, the newest comic book character. You know what I'm saying? I cheated a little bit. I dressed up as myself, but who else could I dress up as?
It's all good.
But now I am a comic book character, so it works.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
You said that everybody was kind of doing their own thing, but are you guys kind of come back together and do some more live shows or travel, go on tour?
I don't know. Like, I guess it's a very fluid thing. So, like, I know Mickey's focused on his graphic design right now, and like I said, Septembryo was just kind of started so that no matter what was going on, I could always push it forward. So, I mean, no matter who joins in the future or what form Septembryo takes, like it's been a 4-piece, a 3-piece, 2-piece, 1-piece. It's been a lot of different incarnations, but it will always continue on. So it's hard to say who's going to be involved. I just imagine new people will keep coming and going, or maybe there'll be a steady lineup, which I think would be amazing. But again, that's what I'm prepping for, is that Septembryo will always continue on regardless of circumstances. So yeah.
Having like all of these different people over the years joining, did you ever have any pre-show rituals that stayed the same every time you performed? Something to shake off the
I don't
chairs
know
or something?
if I've only had one, and it wasn't really a purposeful one, but I always have to drop a deuce before a show. When we were in the corral, it was funny because we're playing our first stadium concert, and we're set up on stage, and there's all these people there, and the stagehands and the sound guys are all like, all right, we're good to go. And they're like, where's Mikey? No one's like, oh no, Mikey's dropping a deuce again. And I'm like, I can hear everybody like in the crowd like, ah, and I'm on the toilet going, and it was, the release show was no different. So we pulled up and started low gear, and I was like, hurry, like it's just, I don't know what it is. I gotta get it out. It's hard to hit those low notes if you got something in the way.
You don't want to have any accidents on stage either,
Yeah, it's not a Misfits show. So.
Is there any last words you'd like to tell the fans? Any announcements?
Let's see. You can check out the comic online. It's at septembryo.com/comic, easy. And we're going to be releasing new issues every month. And the first 15 pages are up now, and it ends at a big cliffhanger. And so check it out. If you like it, let us know how it's going. We're going to keep putting it out. And the music from the new album is connected to the story, and you can download that at septembryo.bandcamp.com or order it at our online store at septembryo.bigcartel.com. That's it.
All right, well, thank you again for doing the interview.
Thank you for having me.
This is Michael again from Septembryo, and Rachel, rock on.
Smell the air.